100% of jobs are going to be gone. Because why would company hire somebody when AI can do this much quicker for penny on a dollar? The scary thing is that I'm following other people that do AI, and they've been studying Claude for the last couple of weeks. And they published a video saying that the general intelligence is already here. You can teach Claude certain skills, give it access to your computer, and it will do literally everything from compilation of videos and everything else. So anything that can be done on a computer will be automated, but you cannot remove human touch. That's going to be permanently part of, like, you need to be present. You need to be with someone face to face, talking to them, hugging them, shaking their hand. This part of human connection is not going to go anywhere. Anything to do on a computer will be automated. That's guaranteed. What happens then? I don't know. There's definitely going to, the demand for human touch and connection is always going to be there. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we have Ken joining us again today for a second podcast. Thank you for joining. Last time, we went deep into the purpose and wellness. What's something you've changed in your own routine since that conversation, if anything?
Things there. I've lost, I guess you would say, a stone, if you think if you're from the UK, 10, 12 pounds, and I'm getting back to the weight that I want to be at. So, I mean, we have to take responsibility. I also got one of the vibration plates, and then I'm also doing strength work, because all the research for people as you move into your sort of elder years or older, even in your 40s,
That's amazing. One thing which I noticed, improved sleep for me and my girlfriend was taking 5 HTPs before bed. That's the precursor to serotonin. You have pretty good sleep from that. Not sure how that works, but it definitely has an effect. Plus, Sorry, go ahead.
No, I had taken serotonin and it never really adjusted my sleep pattern. And I think it was because the caffeine was just overlaying it. And so our body clock, we want to be able to have a consistency to it. So continue. What is it that you're taking that's really helping with your sleep then?
The 5 HTPs. It's the precursor to serotonin.
Yeah.
Also fasting for about 3-day water fast once a year, maybe a couple times a year, and setting up a humidifier in the winter next to the bed, because it gets pretty dry with all the heating. And another thing is not drinking any liquids at all, probably 3 hours before bed.
Well, that makes a difference. Well, the other habit that I have actually set my iPhone to is I have an alarm where I don't eat after 8 o'clock. So no snacks after that. So I've always known about it, but part of the problem is if you are on addictive carbs at McDonald's or some kind of drive-through with a big burger, after you've not been eating for 3 days, it just wrecks the entire system. In fact, if you go for 3, 4, 5 days and then you eat, you can actually put yourself at peril. That's a possibility to die from not doing it right. So make sure you introduce food slowly and correctly, and don't be, binging out after that. I don't know what you found, Art, but after you get past about a day.
Another thing, water specifically. If you're just drinking tap water, which I don't recommend, it's not good for you. So filtered water is best. Once again, for filtered water, the one thing which I've been using for the last couple of years is buying water which is reverse osmosis. I don't think it's reverse osmosis. It's basically filtered water which has alkaline content. The alkalinity is about 8 or 9. And on top of that, you can buy, I think it's called Celtic salt, which has about 83 different minerals in it, and you add it to that water. And that's what I drink.
Well, that's excellent as well. We actually installed an entire house filter system over a decade ago. So this is where every bit of water that touches our body or we drink or consume is filtered through this 2-stage system. So they have the carbon filter, and then we also have the other sort of
Right. Correct.
If we go and binge out on 10 pounds of candy, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, the filter I purchased a couple of years ago, you could set a setting for the water to be either 1 in alkalines, super acid, you can wash your sink with it, or 11, which is also super alkaline, and you can wash your vegetables with it, basically. Around 9 mark, that's the perfect alkalinity to actually drink it. Plus, if you add hydrogen to it, it's very beneficial. All right, next question is, you've been in this space for 35 years. What belief have you changed your mind about recently?
My faith and just my spirituality. And I just encourage people that you would lean into that. And that's really sort of a foundation. I believe that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Correct.
And so that being said, okay, well, if that's the case, then what does that mean for truth and determining it and figuring it out. And the other one is that maybe not a belief system, but just an anchor point. I've always believed that law enforcement. And so what's the most dangerous situation for, and unpredictable situation for a law enforcement officer to go into? And that is domestic dispute. Why is that? Because these are two sort of normal, sane people who have got themselves so ramped up, they'll do some crazy stuff. So there were some officers just down in Palm Springs who went for this domestic dispute or this call. The officers pulled off the husband who was beating on his wife.
That's a wild story. Thank you for sharing.
It's intense. I'm sorry, listeners, but it's the reality. That's how things can get out of hand, and when we're just not paying attention and being in charge.
Sure, if I should mention a story of some distant friend that I've not seen for a couple of decades, and had a call recently with him. He arrives home a day earlier to his wife and a kid, and he sees a car parked on the driveway. He grabs a pipe from his car, goes in, sees his wife with someone else in the bedroom, and he breaks his both legs, basically, with a pipe. So the police arrives, backs him in. That's the end of the story. Not sure how that can apply to the situation, but yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously it's extremely upsetting when you've been betrayed and you catch the betrayal right there in front of you. So rage came into play. But of course now he'll be charged with assault of even if it's quote unquote what you might say justified, that's going to adjust or maybe even ruin his life as a result of that. It's just sad. Just sad that these kinds of things occur. Obviously, these things happen. One of our associates, Brian and Ann, that's all the work they do is she wrote a book, My Husband's Affair Became the Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me. And so that's the work that they do. They work with couples that have had these betrayals and how do I rebuild trust. So you took us on a tangent there, Art. But again, we have these situations where people kind of go nuts. You see it on the news all over the place where people are. Now, I could have got mad at the computer. I could have just got angry. And what I did is I just said, okay, very disappointing. It is upsetting. I tried to recover it with all the tech people I could. I'm the one who screwed up. I saved it wrong and covered over it and wiped it all out. I need to start over. So a lot of times people practice anger against inanimate objects. You get angry against your computer. You get angry against your car. You get angry. And Dr. David Burns' quote is this, is no event ever frustrates you or upsets you unless you let it. Every bit of frustration or upsetness, if I want to create a word, is created by you. It's your choice to be triggered that way. Said, no, you made me mad. No. You always choose to be mad. Now, I'm not saying what the person did is okay. I'm not saying that what the person did shouldn't be upsetting in some way or permissible, but I'm saying your emotional response to it is your training. So example, when I first started in the training industry, I had a very traumatic event sort of happen where one of the individuals in the room sort of attacked the content, was ripping up the booklets and was just disrupting the whole room. Well, I was traumatized by it. Now, later on, we found out that this individual was forced into this. And so we'll just help them on this journey, but I'm not going to take this sort of insolent behavior personally. But that's taken years to be able to develop that that muscle, but also that confidence in that space, not arrogance, confidence in that space. I'm not trying to put that other person down. Maybe they have a different opinion. That's fine. But if you have a person who is disrupting the learning of everybody else, then you need to deal with it and you need to feel confident to do it. That drives you forward. And I don't believe in motivation. Motivation's a myth, but something that inspires you, that when you do it, it's not actually work. So doing that workshop all day for 6 hours, that is something that's fulfilling for me. Yes, you're obviously physically tired at the end because you gave your all, but you still had fulfillment from that activity. And everybody watching this, that really should be your goal in life.
There's even an expression, there's enough water in all the oceans to sink any ship, but the ship only sinks if the water gets in it.
Exactly. Right. And that's where, when we think about all the inputs and how life has changed, especially in the last 20 years. I mean, I was in this industry before there was email. Now, I know I look very young, Art, but in the 90s, email was just evolving. I had the sole source contract with another person for doing all the training for Chrysler Canada.
No worries. All right, let's switch gears here a little bit. Where do you think the personal development industry is heading in the next 3 to 5 years?
I mean, that is a loaded question. Where's the personal development industry heading? I mean, there's a lot of talk about AI, and then there are some new technology, and I think this is going to change. I think this is going to transform education. So the personal development industry, I don't believe that personal coaching and the interaction, yes, you can interact with AI and have AI be your quote unquote sort of live coach, but where people succeed, where longevity happens, where fulfillment happens is in community and in relationship. So the professional development field is going to accelerate. There are many people who are creating programs that are AI generated. I mentioned that education is going to change, and here's why that's going to change. Because students are forced into a compliance by profession. Is you can now customize the educational plan for anybody, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, where the AI will take you on a learning journey that engages you. When I was in elementary school, I struggled. High school, I barely passed. When I get into senior high, I started to improve my marks because I needed my marks to get into college and to listen to you. It might, but I think that would be not a good thing for humanity and for personhoods and individuals there, where all of a sudden you are in the holodeck on Star Trek and your virtual reality is more true than your own reality. And so the last stats after 2020 in that silly situation that happened there. Amount of, certainly in North America, I can't speak for the rest of the world. If you don't track and say, what are you doing? You're lying. I didn't say that. So you have to kind of call it out, where it just all of a sudden has this ghosting and it just pretends that it's going to make stuff up. So, I mean, that's the direction of it. I think the choices for people are going to increase too. And then at the same time, there's some people who are just not going to adjust and they'll just kind of back out. So I'm kind of curious, Art, where do you think it's going to go?
Well, that's a pretty good question. I've watched a video of a person that has written a number of books about adoption of technology, including AI, and he predicted that it will be in the AI general intelligence in a couple of years. And when that happens, 90% of jobs are going to be gone. Because why would a company hire somebody when AI can do this much quicker for penny on a dollar? The scary thing is that I'm following other people that do AI, and they've been studying Claude for the last couple of weeks, and they published a video saying that the general intelligence is already here. You can teach Claude certain skills, give it access to your computer, and it will do literally everything, from compilation of videos and everything else. So anything that can be done on a computer will be automated, but you cannot remove human touch. That's going to be permanently part of humanity. Like, you need to be present. You need to be with someone face to face, talking to them, hugging them, shaking their hand. This part of human connection is not going to go anywhere. So anything to do on a computer will be automated. That's guaranteed. What happens then? I don't know. It's a good question. But there's definitely going to, the demand for human touch and connection is always going to be there. So maybe there's going to be more demand for that, augmented by AI, which is something I'm also working on kind of at the moment. But that's my point of view on this.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And now the other study I think it was from Harvard, is we were talking about stress, but also longevity. One of the number one contributors to longevity, and in addition to your fitness and those kinds of things, is, do you have loving relationships?
Yes. So on this topic, where are you currently using AI in your company?
We're using AI for, I'll call it our copy. So if I'm writing articles, if we're doing marketing copy, if we're refining a VSL we get it to review it and do that information there. We use AI for slide into my emails yet, but it's something where we'll have an automated sort of a process that comes in place. As much as we can automate systems, we will do so over the next year or two, for sure, with AI. And we're just not, I'll call it, getting upset over the fact that we haven't done it yet, because we know 80% of people haven't. But there have been 10 and 20%. Now there's a high percentage who use chat. Okay, they use it as, okay, what time's the football game? And so they ask chat to be able to find out, okay, what happened in this country with this event recently? Okay, but
Have you actually tried CloudBot? I do. I mean, I also follow people that set the system up to do some pretty incredible things. I mean, the way it works is it's literally a person that has a computer. It does research, creates strategy, executes on a strategy, and then corrects itself, quality assurance, and pulls documents and makes sense of things.
It's pretty
It's pretty
awesome.
scary, to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah, yeah. Well, they can find all that stuff so quickly, and that's where, its efficiency is why many of us are adapting it, right? I mean, I couldn't the 2,000 slides that are in our leadership course, I couldn't have created those in a year. I don't even have the capabilities to do all of that with, AI generated images that match the content of the slide with people and backgrounds and meetings and landscapes. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that it can do all of that.
That's true. Okay, let's see. Next question. What's your ideal version of the CRG 24 months from now? Your ideal version of CRG 24 months.
Why providing grandpa the resources to spend time and take my grandkids anywhere in the world for trips. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. I mean, a couple of people that I work with here in Toronto, the person was very rushing. I mean, of course, he was going for smokes every 10 minutes when he was conducting his training. But I asked him, why are you rushing? And what's the rush? He's like, I have to finish by Saturday. I'm like, why do I finish by Saturday? Because every year, he and his friend's family would go for a hike in BC. Like they all lived in Vancouver, but they basically dedicate a specific weekend where two families with kids and wives, they all go for a hike. That personal connection is priceless. You gotta have it. Yes, correct. Funny enough, actually, one of my other projects is wellness retreats. It's instead of traveling to get drunk on the beach, you travel for wellness in different locations around.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually had an interview with somebody that he had a system where it would track the alcohol pouring rate, basically, so nothing goes to waste. And he mentioned that the alcohol sales are going down across the board. And instead of that, what's booming is the health drinks. And some of the companies are basically setting up taps, draft healthy drinks instead of alcohol, which is quite incredible.
Well, there you go. Just shift as the marketplace changes. And I do consume 0.0 Corona every once in a while, but it's 0% beer just to enjoy it, but no alcohol. So they make that. It's as expensive as beer is. So there you go.
You've built a virtual team. What still depends entirely on you currently?
Or whatever those are that we bring around us. We have a couple of marketing agencies we work with, but core is that we want to be out of the operational side, that somebody else is going to be running that. Even if AI takes over, you need somebody to oversee it. And so I see it that this stage in the company and organization that we can find somebody to take that lead.
That's a great way to put it. What can I say? That's a great strategy too. Okay, let's just see where we go from here. I got a lot more questions, but I think we're kind of out of time at this point. Yeah, close to it. Let's see here. If CRG was a sport, what sport would it be?
Maybe. I mean, I'm familiar with most of the sports. I've played a lot of them over the years, but I think that it's be a team sport of some sort where everybody has to come together. Yet you still have your specialists that are responsible for each of their roles, and that it has to work together. Otherwise, it's not going to be successful.
Team sports.
Well, I look forward to hearing about that, and if there's any experience that can help us, then we're very open to learning about that.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. I'll reach out by
Thanks,
email.
Art. We'll talk to you soon. Get us all the clips and stuff like that, and Tap will post everything for you.
Will do. Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon. Take care.